Hello, everybody at home, in the car, in the shower, wherever you're listening. Welcome to the Tempelhof Sessions. We have the tremendous honor to have today the great Omri Abramov. Hello, man. So you need the microphone, otherwise.
Thanks, man. It's great being here. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Let me just get you. Yeah, man. Wow. Let me just introduce all the musicians here. The great Manuel Podhosnik on the drums. Hey, brother. Hello.
Yeah.
Daniel Shachar, co-producer and incredible guitar player.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man. So I try to think of the questions while the musician is playing. I mean, I have some idea what I'm going to talk about, but when you were starting, I always feel something really unique when we just start,
Yeah.
right? Even if we start together or just the musician starts. And I was wondering when you started to play, when I start to play, I always have like intrusive thoughts coming. Okay, this is not working. He's not smiling. What the hell is going on? I wanted to hear from you, like the beginning, the birth, right? This moment.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Wow.
Talk as close as you can to the microphone.
Well, I mean, I think the most honest question would be like, I don't know. Like, let's go for a journey and see what's happening. See what's gonna happen. Like a moment ago, I was like I was going about like body and soul, and then some noise came from the pedals, and I was like, maybe not this one, like maybe another standard, and then I just like took, of course, both of them, for example, that was all the like some take on all the things you are, right? So,
Yeah.
for example, both of them are standards that are really close. I feel very close to. I mean, I play them a lot. I feel like I'm like familiar with their ins and their outs, like how to kind of shape my way around them. Always can dig much deeper. I feel like it's only the tip of the iceberg, can always dive so much deeper inside of them. But both of them will be tunes that I feel like I can, you know, kind of relate to deeply. So I chose all the things you are, and I decided, okay, let's see where it takes us, because every time it's different, like now we put the delay. So my delay was doing some noise, and then we put Daniel was putting a great delay from the software, but it immediately takes you elsewhere, and I don't know. I'm trying to get as much as possible to a point that I'm accepting this and reacting to this.
Oh my God! Thank you.
As like not as organically as possible, That's basically it.
Amazing. You said it perfectly. Reacting. I love it. I love it. It's like talking right after playing and hearing something like that about reacting. It clicks so many things in my brain, and it's beautiful. Reacting. Yeah. Very powerful. Would you guys like to play something together? And then
Let's do
we can
something.
talk some more. Thanks,
Let's
man.
play. Yeah, man. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, guys. That was super fun.
Yeah, man. I checked before we started playing. The first time we played together was 13 years ago.
Oh wow!
Yes.
With Doron.
Yes, with the great Doron Raffaelli.
Yeah.
We were the first show on the Elat Jazz Festival Winter Edition.
True, true. Yes. Wow.
And listen, man, you were. How old were you 13 years ago? Let's expose your age here in front of
Like
millions
20.
of viewers.
Yeah, like 22.
22. I remember
Yeah.
you just finished like the army or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was something very mature in a good way. Like I don't like when people say maturity. Oh, you're so mature for young kids, but you were already really, really powerful in your direction. I remember playing with you, and I felt Hod Moshonov recommended you.
Yeah.
He brought you, the great pianist and DJ.
Yeah. Wow. Hot. I miss that guy, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too. Maybe we can have him on the podcast.
Man.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be insane.
Bring him to Berlin. We do
Yeah.
a nice hang.
Yeah. And I remember, man, you were crushing that show, but not only with chops. I heard a lot of meaning when you were playing, and you were very young. And I was wondering if you can talk a little bit about that period of your life when you just became officially professional in a way.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know. What was that process of becoming? You know, you've collaborated with so many musicians around the world, and you know, before that came, I felt like you were always like complete. And if you could talk a little bit about that process of becoming professional, I guess.
Okay, wow. First of all, man, thanks for the beautiful words. I appreciate it. I always feel like I'm not mature enough, you know, in my playing. I always feel like, damn, I could have, like, you know, laid that one back, play that one out, you know, like, I don't know. But, like, thank you. I appreciate it. And, yeah, about that time, I remember especially, you know, coming from, I was, you know, graduating from the conservatory in Tel Aviv. It's called the Israeli Conservatory of Music. It's called Striker also in the slang.
Yeah.
Because
Shout
that's
out
the
to
name
my-
of the street, you know, that's the name of the street, so it's called
Yeah.
Striker, yeah. And I had a great teacher there. His name was Erez Barnoi. He was mentor of many Israeli jazz musicians. He was an extraordinary person, you know, just like kind of like a person with an aura and charisma. And he would just go with me through the process, and he would like be very critical, but he would always give also give like the things to like show you the way. And then I remember he told me one day it will click. All the things that you work on, it will click. And it did at some point, you know. And that, I think, is the point that I felt like I became a more professional musician, you know. When all the like the chromatic, I want to say the bebop, but it's not bebop. It's like more like the way that you swim in a tonal field, you know. Like if you are, you know, like let's say we were around like the area of A minor and F, right? Right now when we played. You feel the gravitation there, and the deeper you get into the music, you come with more ideas and more options. But like, there's one point that you feel, okay, I can say something about this. I can swim in it, you know. Like it came from a lot of solos that I transcribed, and like a lot of like working on flow. It's also what it's called flow, you know, on flow and on phrasing and stuff like that. But from there, I think I was maybe, when it first happened, I think it was like some 17 or 18, you know, like when I felt first time, okay, this is what I, like this is my, like this is more clearly how I want the music to feel, you know, in a certain flow. And since then there were many, many realizations, but in terms of where I started to feel like a professional, and also started being hired, you know, around that time, exactly around that time, you know. So it makes sense. People were like, okay, this guy, you know, he can play to an extent, maybe saying something, you know, like it's coherent enough.
Yeah.
Then people start thinking, and I also felt it myself that things were a bit clicking. I don't remember exactly how, but I remember that it was like a day or two, you know, just like you just
Really?
like puck, you know.
Like you remember a specific.
I don't remember I remember the scenery. I don't remember exact
Wow.
moment or time, but I remember that, you know, I used to practice with a lot of Ebersold.
Uh-huh.
I also played with a lot of people in Tel Aviv, but at home, you know, just like run hour, like practice hours. I feel like back then I was methodic, but I became with time, I learned how to be more precise and focused about what I need to practice. But back then I would just like also, which is also a great practice, just would run with long time with like this Ebersold playbacks and also just like also, for example, up tempos. Would just run hours on an up tempo playback. It gives you just the chops, the feeling of up tempo, for example.
Yeah.
And I remember probably it was a medium up like tune or something like that. I don't remember which one. Could be like a confirmation or something like that, or something that direction. That, you know, suddenly the da 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 something suddenly it clicked. Suddenly I was like, okay, these phrases they sit in time. I finally feel it, you know, in a way. That I remember. Somehow it was like, I can put it in time. That's somehow I feel it possible right now, you know. And from there it's just a lot of practicing and discovering and finding my own voice and like going forward. But that point was the first point that I felt like a certain flow.
Amazing. And do you think that what your teacher Erez told you that it will click, did you think about it when it was clicking? Like, oh, that's what he was talking about? Because that's a really interesting thing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people give us direction and we are arriving the destination and not always acknowledging how we ended up here.
Yeah.
Were you thinking about that?
At the time, no. At the time,
Interesting.
I just had like, it's only in retrospect what I'm saying now, because at the time I was like I was so young and competitive, you know? I was just having that goal of like nailing it and, you know, impressing areas, impressing people, you know,
Nice.
just like coming to the jam. There was Gemma de Shablul back then. We were going every
Tuesday? I think
Tuesday.
it was Tuesday.
Tuesdays, right? Yeah. Every Tuesday we went to the jam, and we were just like I was, you know, I was having that scene in mind. It was kind of a visioning thing, you know, like unintended, but like unintentional, you know, like but like it was in my mind, you know, to have a scene where you can play and bring it, you know? And yeah, I remember Erez being very happy about it, you know? Like, he was just like, yeah, okay, now we play, you know? Like, and he gave me more solos, we were jamming more. That's also where we started to become more of a buddies, and he became more my mentor than my teacher at that point, you know? We were hanging a lot and stuff, and that was a beautiful moment. At the time, I didn't think about it, but in retrospect, I recall that's how it was.
Yeah, it's really important to have that direction, and having a teacher that can, you know, give that to you is super valuable, super valuable.
I owe him so much, man. Like I was lucky to have some really amazing teachers and mentors, you know, along the way. Like people, really inspiring musicians, and also people, you know. Yeah, I think always it's good to have someone, you know. Like I also look for that, you know, some people that can. I like to. Also, with time, when I grow up, I like to milk people, you know, like in a good way. I mean, you know, like I like to come and like to see, like, okay, what do you have to say about that? Yeah, okay, let's dive into that. I really wanna listen. We don't have a lot. It happened to me several times that I was like in situation, like I had 10 minutes with a person, and I like, listen, you don't really know me. I played with this, you know him. Yeah, okay, let's skip that. I have 10 minutes to maybe ask you something. Can we talk about that? And yeah, it works.
And then you would like dig in a certain thing that is.
Yeah.
Wow.
It can be also not only music. It can be with politics. Can be with like many inspiring people that I sometimes have the chance to meet. You know, if it's, I mean, when it's very, I try as much as I can to seize that opportunity. You know, I don't always manage, but I try. You know,
That's also reacting, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, reacting to an opportunity.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah, in general, I think I like to be attentive, you know? Also in life, like in career, path, for example, or like any path, like you try to be attentive to my curiosity or to opportunities that occur and stuff like that, like, and to be like, okay, this for example, person called me for a session, like be like, okay, this is interesting what he does, he or she, is doing. I don't know where it's leading, but I feel like it's a hunch. I should stick in that band a bit, to see what's going on with that. Maybe contribute an idea or two,
Yeah.
Try to be attentive to like what's hot, what's fresh, what's interesting, like to not stay in like some state of mind of myself saying like I'm this or I'm that or this is not good for me or this is too good for me or whatever, like just like start trying to
Yeah.
accept that. So in general, that's like a bit of a, I don't know if a life motto, but some guidance that I have throughout life that I want to, I want to be close to things that, I don't know, spark my enthusiasm, like, and
Yeah.
enthusiasm and I don't know, curiosity, and just be around that and
Amazing.
and try to take as much from that as possible,
That's beautiful, man. Nice. Yeah, using everything around us to inspire our music. That's
Yeah, wow, definitely. I think one of my biggest growth as a musician was that I understood that it's not only about music.
interesting.
Like that came later a bit, than that moment that I'm talking about. Like, but when I understood, like, okay, there's more to it. What do you want to say as a person? What do you believe in? Like, what cinema do you like? What books do you like? What is your general approach? All that blends in. Like, and yeah, that's. I really think it's connected. It's, don't want to separate anything. If I separate my private existence from the musical existence, I feel like it doesn't make sense.
Well, I just thought about it, and I feel like I do it all the time. That I always try to exclude myself from and it makes the experience almost not real when you're in that state of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to always be connected to everything. That is, yeah.
I mean, at least for me, I just felt like, I mean, I know some people who can somehow, divide things into boxes and like be in a certain vibe, but then like completely put on a mask and do something, and they can do it great. And I appreciate that even. But for me personally, I found out, especially after I moved to Berlin, and Berlin for me was like an opportunity to have a clean slate, to really dig to whoever I am, without all the voices of like, you are this talented jazz kid. You're like, you should be the next whatever, like a burning saxophone player in New York, or you should be like that. Or I had a chance to like really come and dig into like more quietly, more peacefully into some points in my, like, okay, what music do I like? What artists influenced me, or what am I after in general, So I'm happy with that decision. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a really good advice for people to really take everything in, and not just the chops and the ideas, but everything. Thanks, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys want to play one more?
Yeah, let's play, please.
you know, Manu was playing now, and he was looking at me. Now, you know what I thought of? That this guy introduced us. That's what I thought in those last 2 seconds. I'm like, oh my God, that's the connection. You introduced us, me and Daniel, to Manu. Yeah,
That's true. I
and my
did.
brain was going like,
Oh my God.
400
Now I
miles an
feel
hour.
important, man.
Yes.
Now I feel important. Oh my God.
Oh, man,
You
that
guys
was-
are so good together, man.
That was
So-
beautiful, man.
Yeah. Thanks. You know, we went like, hero mode,
Yeah,
like,
definitely. Yeah, Daniel and Manu, feel free to join in the conversation
Yeah,
whenever.
please. Daniel, what do you have to say for your defense?
To say for yourself, yeah.
I don't have nothing to say. But it's really honor to have you here, and I'm really glad to play with you, man. Such an incredible musician, and wow, man, thank you so much.
I like your sound pattern, man. It's so wide, like it's something that I really love, really special. Also, what you do with that sounded like a mandolina for a second or something,
I thought of banjo.
banjo, or something like that, Yeah. Super cool, man.
Nice,
Like
man.
super nice. Thanks. It's a pleasure for me.
Daniel is a delicate and very high soul, very, very high.
Yeah.
Very high soul.
Amazing. Beautiful playing, man.
Thanks, man.
These guys I know, so they are not important. No, okay. No,
Yeah, we're
it's,
also old and irrelevant as time goes by. More and more irrelevant.
no, it's always like always a pleasure, Like,
We were touring like 6 months ago, the
Mhm.
three of us,
yeah.
with a band called CRISPR.
Mm.
And you and me were sitting in, what's the name of this country? I forgot.
Romania.
Romania.
Yeah.
Had a geographic blackout.
Yeah.
And you and me were sitting in the lobby, and we were talking about moving to a different country
Mm.
and having a lot of noises, but you didn't see noises. I remember this conversation very well because you said something very, very that affected me really, really deeply. You were talking about opinions.
Hmm.
You were talking about other people's opinions, and that you wanted, the way I understood it, is leaving your home country, whatever country it is, and moving to a new place where you have no relationships and therefore no opinions from other people that you look up to, parents, teachers, colleagues.
Yeah.
If you could tell us a little bit about that, about, I'm not even sure what I'm asking here, but I'm trying to.
Yeah, no, it's a life path. So, I have to say, like I had at this time in Israel, I had a jazz fusion band called Niogy. Like I did it with a great musician called Guy Shkolnik. He now goes on Instagram as Dr. Guy Shkolnik. He has a very successful Instagram YouTube channel because he's an amazing teacher. I think at what he does, which is like harmony and like generally voice leading and how music connects, I think is like one of the top in the world. Is like amazing. It's not for nothing. People are really like connecting to him from all over the world. And I had the honor and pleasure like to work with this guy, like really like close up for many years, even before moving to Israel. But he always told me, always moving. Before moving to Berlin, from exactly that home, and like with everyone, like all the opinions, family, and everything. And he always told me, you need some quiet, you need some quiet in your mind, and I didn't understand it back then. But at some point, we recorded an album with an Austria, we recorded it in the legendary Rainbow Studio in Norway. It's with Jan Erik Konchak, who's like the guy who recorded all the ECM like legendary ones. Like he would tell us stories about like the
What's his name
Keith
again?
Jarrett, Jan Erik Konchag. He passed away a few years back, but we had the opportunity to record with him before that when he was still at his prime, and it was amazing. The guy would, tell you stories about your legends like Keith Jarrett, Pat, Chick, everyone, and to see him work was also an experience. And then we released it in an Austrian label, and we moved. And I think from that moment on, I understood, even after this recording session, I understood that I want to be in Europe. I want to be in that hang even stronger, So since then, I think the process has started, and I somehow the idea of being a bit more remote than, for example, going to New York and being with all my friends who are amazing musicians, and the Israeli or just like the scene there is. The scene there is amazing, and the whole hang is very close. So I felt like it will be a bit more similar to what I know from my hometown.
Like more of like a similar situation of relationships. Like you'll have.
Yeah. It will be a bit closer to that. Although the level is amazing, and I love New York. I have a trio from there. I go there sometimes. It's like I love that place, like it's so vibrant, and there's something that is very unique about it. But for me at the time, I just didn't feel strong enough with myself. I felt like I really need to calm my mind musically to understand what I want to do. And at first it was like a decision that was, I was not secure with it. Even my family were a bit skeptical, and everything. But
moving to Europe.
Yeah, in general, when you do something that is not my family is amazing. They're very supportive. But in general, when you do something that is out of the stream, and 10 years ago, it was very out of the stream, for someone from, where I come from to go to Berlin. It was not so,
Common,
popular, yeah. And then, of course, when you do something like that, your parents or people who care about you will be the first ones to raise suspicions and stuff like that, and to raise concerns, and but it was a good call. Man, so many things. After the band. A guy and I are still very good friends, but we are now not doing the band anymore. Everyone doing his own path for a while now, for about 6 years, a bit more, And since then, I also relearned things about myself so much, just living here in Berlin and touring around Europe with different people and taking on opportunities that I would never imagine. For example, this the Iranian-Israeli band, Sista Nagila,
Tell us about this. I know this project from you, but.
Yeah, it's a peace project, It's a peace project. First of all, it's an amazing thing that I can, be friends with being Israeli, being friends with Iranians, real friends, that these guys
real
are
Iranians,
real Iranians, not Iranians that are real Iranians came from Iran.
Wow.
They're like my brothers, Even though at first when I came, I couldn't speak German even at all.
You can say again the name of the bands.
It's Sista Nagila. It's Sistan and Nagila together. Sistan is a region in Iran, and Nagila from Hava Nagila. I didn't come up with the band name was there much before I arrived. This band exists for 12 years. I arrived about 6 years ago, and now also musically producing it. But I just for example, I didn't know. If you told me that I would be, playing in Philharmonie or something, in Philharmonie with a classical violinist that was a guest with us, Guy Braunstein, and this band, and we do ethnic music. They play the soprano, and we're playing all these ethnic passages, from Iran or from Jewish tradition or Persian tradition and original tunes. I would be like, what the hell are you talking about, man? I want to play stand. I know, I come from jazz. What the hell are you talking about? You know what I mean?
But again, reacting.
But it was reacting. It was with the iwi. It was reacting, we can also talk more about that weird instrument here, But it was the same idea of okay, I don't know what it is, but I like it. Let's just stay, Let's just stay, be very involved, give from myself, invest, bring compositions, discuss, inquire about like tradition, about like go deeper. Or every time that you can think like, I think I got it, or I can really like spend another, I don't know, 20 minutes and really like dig into it. I always try to be conscious of that and like dig deeper, you know, like so. What happens if, you know, I remember that point that I was like, okay, there's definitely magic in that band. It's a real peace project. It's real collaboration of friendship and music. And I just want to be around that, you know? And from that, it led me to, you know, doing so many stuff with that, even composing for a whole philharmonic orchestra. I would never imagine, you know, that suddenly I have to arrange my own compositions for like a whole philharmonic orchestra, and I didn't know even how to do that. Just like then you inquire people and you make it happen. You know what I mean?
I was just talking to Shimon, our photographer, on the way here. That we had a conversation like 2 weeks ago about trying new approaches to life, and it reminds me of that when you open the possibilities, you have a lot more stuff that can come in. I don't know if it's magic, if it's spiritual, or if it's just your mind is more accepting. You know, you can see more options because you're open. Yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
And that's what I hear from you. Like this, again, from the beginning of the episode, you talked about reacting, and now, you know, moving out of your comfort zone and not going to New York, going to Berlin, challenging, and then again accepting a band that is not only your music style but also not like almost enemies in a way.
Officially, yeah.
And
I mean, I'm always up for. I'm always like, I want to represent peace always, you know. So like, even I think my whole stay in Berlin is a kind of a peace. Like there's something that declares peace about it, because I have so many amazing friends from like so many places in the world here. And of course that can happen in any international place, but Berlin is definitely is one of the most like, you know, common international places that are accepting whatever. So I just like feel just like being here and being active here and running across people who might even have like different opinions than me, politically, musically, whatever, you know, but just having a discussion, and healthy, like, you know, discussion and friendship and acceptance, super important. Just accepting something that you don't know, you know, like that's for me the thing, you know.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like you always challenge yourself, and it brings you a lot of opportunities, and you know.
I you know, the funny thing is that it's more, for me it's more tiring not to challenge myself.
Interesting.
You know, it's funny. Like I would rather put myself in a position that I don't know exactly what it's supposed to be, than like think exactly what I need it to be, and like you can take it from musical style of certain band, what I'm saying right now, to the whole life path that I chose. You know, I always like to quote Morpheus from Matrix. Very smart man, Morpheus. Yeah, no, it's like Matrix. Whoever wrote that screen, like, when he says there is a difference between walking the path, like knowing the path and walking the path. I feel like for as long as I was like a student at the conservatory, and even after as in graduate life, like professional musician, I was like trying to do a lot of projects, like thinking that I know the path. I know what needs to be done. I know like this is you need to do like that, and because of my roots, I need to play this kind of music, and it will help to appeal and stuff. And then when you start walking, just like doing, then you start like being aware of like this path will take you to another, totally another direction. And I really strongly believe that that's what I'm supposed to do right now, you know, like to be aware of that and not have that pre-planned thing, because it just like stopped me, you know, back then. I remember
narrows the options down.
A lot of frustration also when things don't come out as you want, you know. You really think you're doing it all right, and then you don't get excited to that label or that festival or that, and you're like, wait, what am I missing out on? You know, like, I mean, I have good ear. I can play the instrument. I'm friendly guy. You know, why am I like, you know? No, really, like why? No, I know. Like, but why are you like? Why are you like? Why close yourself like that? You know?
Yeah.
Who knows? I think Oscar Wilde said like, how boring is it to just like have your goals that you all your life wanted, just have it achieved. How
Yes.
boring is that path? You just know everything, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and you achieved it.
A boring square, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, kudos to whoever does that. That's, I mean, respect. But like for me, I really like, I really like this element of surprise, you know. in
Yeah,
the
life
path.
is not a triangle or a
Yeah.
square. It's more of a
Yeah.
crooked circle.
Yeah.
Wow. Omri, I could talk with you for hours. Really, this is fascinating.
I would love that. Yeah.
And yeah, let's have coffee soon.
Let's have a coffee soon and continue. Yeah.
yeah. And
Just a phone, you know, just recording, and that's like the underground podcast version, you know, where you're like
Wow.
5 hours of like, you
That's
know, like,
nice.
yeah, give you an idea.
it's a good concept. I really wanted to thank you for being here and playing with us and
Oh,
hearing
man.
you and
Oh,
talking. Really,
Thank you for having me. It's
Huge privilege,
super
really.
fun for me, really super fun, amazing, and man, amazing podcast, amazing scenery here. It's amazing to be here. Really.
amazing, man. I'm again so honored and grateful. And I wanted to thank everybody for watching and thank the great Manuel Podhosnik on the drums,
Yeah.
my friend and partner, Daniel Shachar on the guitar, co-producer of this podcast, and again, Omri Abramov. Thank you so much, man,
Thanks,
for being
man.
here. I have so many more questions. We'll do it over breakfast.
Yes, please.
Let's play one more.
Yeah.
Thank